So hello everyone. In the beginning of the show we see Xia Jin who is getting intimate with a rich CEO. After getting intimate, she comes to her sister and says that I have done exactly as you said, so now give me my money. She says that I will give the money but first tell me whether you enjoyed romancing with the 50-year-old CEO or not. She insults him by saying such nonsense things. After this she throws the money and goes away. Well, now after 10 months we see Xia Jin who gives birth to twins. But then her sister Xia Werner comes here and she deceives the nurse and takes away her daughter, and she tells the nurse to tell Mr. Jan that his daughter was born dead. Then after this the story shifts 6 years ahead and we see Xia Jin with her cute son. Now Xia Jin has become a very famous designer and she is known as Alice. But Xia Jin's there is only one reason for coming back to China, and that is to take revenge from his sister Xia Werner. Well, now we see the second male lead here who is Xia Jin's friend. But this friend loves her one-sidedly. Well, this guy is also cute. He has been taking care of her for 6 years and always supports her all the time. Well, now in the next scene, we see Dodo who looks like a plump doll. The good thing is that she is Xia Jin's daughter, but Xia Jin does not know that his daughter is alive. Dodo collides with Xia Jin while playing, and as soon as she sees her, she calls her mother at first sight. The connection between a mother and a daughter is like this. But Xia Jin says that, "Son, I am not your mother." Then Xia Jin sees some men who are running towards this girl on a horse. Xia Jin starts thinking that all of them are kidnappers and are coming to kidnap this child. So she quickly sits in the car and leaves very fast. She drives and all the horses chase her, but Xia Chan drives so fast that they can't catch her. This man like a horse belongs to none other than Mr. Fu. Mr. Fu is the same person which we saw in the beginning of the drama. On one side we see the main lead of this drama, Xia Jin, who brings Dodo to her house, and she tells this girl that don't worry, we will find your mother soon, but that girl says in gestures that you are my mother. Dodo talks in gestures because she cannot speak, so she talks in sign language. Xia Jin says that, "Son, you will have to stay with us tonight, and tomorrow we will go to find your mother," but then Mr. Fu comes to know about the location of his daughter and he comes to take her. When Mr. Fu comes here, he is surprised to see Xia Jin and says that maybe we have met before, but Xia Jin is angry and says that you are such irresponsible parents, you cannot take care of your little daughter. Mr. Fu is shocked to see her, but then after coming to his senses he takes his daughter from here. When he is coming out with his daughter Mama is shouting, "Mama, Mr. Fu," and the assistant are surprised to see this because Dodo has started talking, and then Mr. Fu says that this woman cannot be an ordinary woman, and now he asks his assistant to find out about this woman. Actually that night Mr. Fu was drunk, so he does not remember exactly which girl he was with, but still he remembers a little bit. On one side we see Yang who asks her mother about her dad, due to which she becomes very sad, and then her friend comes there and says that, "Xia Jin, if you want, we can get into a relationship because I like you very much. If you want, we can also get married." But she says that, "Look, I do not have time for all these things right now." After this he says that, "Don't worry, I will always wait for you." Well, on the other side we see his sister Xia Werner, who comes to know that her sister has returned and she is known as a very famous Jan Alice. After knowing this she gets very angry. She comes and says that this bitch has come back again to interfere in my life, but then she chills and says that, "No, I will ruin it again." Now in the next scene we see Xia Jin who comes to Mr. Fo's company because Mr. Fo has called Aless the famous designer to his company, but he does not know that Aless and Xia Jin are the same. But then Xia Werner comes here and says, "How dare you come back, shameless woman." Xia Jin says, Why can't I come?" After this Xia Werner shouts at everyone and says that, "Look, this girl is very shameless. She ruined the respect of her family by sleeping with a rich man for money." Hearing this Xia Jin loses her mind and she says, "Listen to me. I have come back this time only to teach you a lesson and to take back all the things that are mine, so it would be better if you stay away from her." Now here comes Mr. Fu. Xia Jin tells him that, "Wow, Mr. Fu, you spent 1 billion to invite me, but by calling me here you are insulting me." She says that if Xia Werner does not apologize to me by kneeling down and slapping himself 100 times, then the 1 billion you have given me will become 0. Now Mr. Fu says that, "Xia Werner, as you sow, so shall you reap. You have done it, so you handle it." After which she has to sit on her knees and slap herself 100 times, due to which the poor girl's cheeks turn red. And after coming home she gets angry on Dodo, but then Mr. Fu, that is her dad, comes here and seeing the thief's mark on his daughter's face, he asks her, "What did you do?" Shia Werner says that she is my daughter and I was teaching her manners, which is my job. Hearing this, Mr. Fu gets even more angry and says that you are not allowed to meet my child for a month. Saying this, he takes Dudo with him. Well, now in the next scene we see the secretary who tells Mr. Fu about Shreya Jin. He says that no specific information is available about Shreya Jin. It is just known that 6 years ago she slept with a rich man for money. Hearing this, he says that now don't waste your time on Shreya Jin. We should stay away from such people, and says that, by the way, remind me today that I have to go to pick up Dudo from school. Now in the next scene we see that he is not able to come on time. Shreya Jin comes to meet Dudo. Yang tells Dudo that it will be fun if you become my sister. Finally, Mr. Fu comes here very late and he sees that both the children are sleeping in Shreya Jin's lap. When Dudo sees her dad, she says Papa. He is shocked to hear this again. Then Shreya Jin comes here and says that you are a very irresponsible father. You don't even come to pick up your daughter on time, and he says that if I am irresponsible then please become my daughter's nanny. He says that I can see that you are trying your best to become a part of my family, so come, I give you a chance myself, you enter my family by becoming my daughter's nanny, after which she slaps him, but then he holds her hand and then he takes her with him, and seeing this, Yang says that maybe uncle has fallen in love with my mother. On one side, Mr. Fu forcibly brings her in his car and he kisses her. He says, just tell me, what are you doing? How did my daughter start speaking as soon as you came? I took her to the best doctors in the world but nothing happened, and he starts requesting her that I want you to stay with me and take care of my daughter. She says whatever it is, we will talk tomorrow, please let me go now, but then her hair gets stuck in Mr. Fu's jacket and while trying to free it, she accidentally kisses him. When Mr. Fu sees this, he also kisses her in return, after which he gets angry and asks where is the grief of embarrassment. Shreya Jin gets shocked to hear this and now she comes to the address given by him. But when she reaches there, someone hits her on the head and makes her unconscious. Then we see Shreya Werner here and she says that I am the only mother of Dudo, and if I have to destroy you to prove this, I will destroy you. On one side, Dudo gets hurt and she starts screaming and says that Mama is in danger. Please take me to her. Ubbi is driving on the road, but then he sees Shreya Jin and he immediately brings her to the hospital. Now Mr. Fu talks to the doctor about how she is. The doctor says that there is nothing to worry about. She is absolutely fine. The doctor also says that the relationship between a mother and a daughter is such that if the mother gets hurt, the daughter comes to know about it, and if the daughter gets hurt, the mother comes to know about it. Hearing this, he starts thinking that maybe something like this has happened. So it is not that Dodo's biological mother is Shreya Jin. On one hand, Shreya Jin regains consciousness and starts leaving from here, but he stops her and says that I want to marry you, but she starts leaving by freeing her hand, but then she remembers Shreya Werner's words, due to which she starts becoming unconscious, and now Mr. Fu consoles her. Now the next day Shreya Jin comes to the same grave, but then Mr. Fu comes there, but when she sees him, she starts pretending to be Shreya Werner, but Mr. Fu recognizes her and goes to her and forcibly holds her and kisses her strongly, and she leaves from here angrily. Coming home, she gets very angry that what does he think of himself? He keeps on doing that everywhere and all the time. Now when Yang sees his mother getting angry like that, he contacts Dodo and says, Dodo, my mother and your father are fighting again, we have to do something to unite them. On the other hand, Mr. Fu comes to know that there is nothing in the grave. He is not there, and they understand that only Shreya Werner can do such things, and now they ask to find out about Shreya Jin and her child. On the other hand, Yang secretly comes to Dudo's house and asks Dudo for Mr. Fu's hair and says I hope your father is my father too, but then Dudo's grandmother comes and asks him where did you get this child from, whose child is this and what is he doing here? She starts saying nonsense to him and even slaps him a couple of times, but then Mr. Fu comes here. And seeing Yang in such a condition, they scold the grandmother, but after this the grandmother starts suspecting Yang that whether this child is Shreya Jin's or not. On one hand, Shreya Jin asks her son that what did you go there to do and why did you not even tell me before leaving, after which he sadly says that I like Mr. Fu uncle very much and I want him to become my daddy. Then she says that Mr. Fu cannot be your dad, but I promise son that I will find your daddy soon. Well, on the other hand we see Shreya Jin's stepmother and she tells Shreya Jin's dad that it has been 6 years, now you have to talk to Mr. Fu, now both of them should finally get married. She wants that her daughter, i.e. Shia Werner, and Mr. Fu get married as soon as possible. Now Shia, whose father also calls her here the father and daughter start arguing. She tells her dad that don't forget that my mother is because of you. She has died. He says that your mother had heart disease and that is why she died and not because of me. She says that you and your second wife, both of you together gave her so much tension and depression that she got heart disease, and seeing the attitude of both of you, she died. She tells her stepmother that there is no need to play too many tricks because my mother and father are still not divorced. He has married you, but remember that he did not divorce his first wife. That is why 80% of the property is mine and 80% of the shares are also mine, so there is no need to claim too much. Her dad says that is this any manners to talk to your mother? She says that mother, she is only Shia Werner's mother and not my mother. But then Mr. Fu comes here and he is surprised to see Shia Jin and says that oh, you are also a part of this family. Then her dad says that yes, she is the elder daughter of my family, but she is the daughter of my first wife. Now Shia is here. Werner's mother says to Mr. Fu that thank you so much son for taking care of our daughter for so many years, but I think now you both should live together and get married. See how beautiful my daughter is. She has all the qualities that a good wife and a good mother should have. Hearing all this, Shia Jin starts smiling and she gets up and leaves from there. As soon as she leaves, Mr. Fu also follows her. Mr. Fu comes out and asks her what happened. Then she says angrily that you have been with Shia Wen for 6 years and you both must be loving each other a lot and are going to marry each other soon. So if this is the case, then stay away from me. On one side we see Shia Jin's friend who has been waiting for 6 years to make Shia Jin his own, and now he decides that now he will propose her for marriage. On the other side Mr. Fu is sitting in the car and thinking whether Shia Jin would have reached home or not, but then he sees that Shia Jin, a friend, is proposing her for marriage by giving her a ring. Seeing this, Mr. Fu gets jealous and angry and he goes to Shia Jin and starts kissing her forcefully, but then Shia Jin abuses him and leaves from there, and now Mr. Fu tells Shia Jin's friend that this is just the beginning. Wait and see what I do next. And now Mr. Fu asks his secretary to keep an eye on both of them because he does not want anything to happen between Shia Jin and his friend. Now on one side we see Shia Jin's friend who betrays Shia Jin to get her, and he joins hands with Shia Werner. Now what is their plan? We will know in the future. On the other side we see Shia Jin who is sitting in the club and drinking and is very sad. Then a rude man comes here and he says that everything was so good between us 6 years ago and now you have started looking more beautiful than before. While saying this, he starts trying to do wrong things with her, due to which Shia Jin starts shouting. On one side Shia Werner tells Mr. Fu that look, Shia Jin does such characterless things for money, and now we come to know that both of them together have planned to spoil the character of Shia Jin, but Mr. Fu runs from there and slaps that man 2-3 times and saves Shia Jin and takes her away from there. After their departure, this fat guy starts misbehaving with Shia Werner and says that as you sow, you reap. She dug a pit for someone else and fell in that pit herself. We see that Shia Jin is drunk and that is why she starts kissing Mr. Fu, and Mr. Fu feels for a few seconds that maybe she is the same girl who was with me that night, and he brings her home safely. Here we come to know that Mr. Fu has slowly started falling in love with her, and that is why he takes a lot of care of her, and then suddenly Shia Jin regains his senses, and seeing her so close to him, he gets very scared. She slaps him and says, you rude man who changed my clothes, you are #1 pervert. He says stop, I had no other option. Hearing this she starts hitting him more, but then he holds her hand in a very romantic way and says you were the one with me that night, aren't you the biological mother of Dodo? Hearing all this she says you make good stories, according to me you should write a novel. She also says in anger that look, pay attention to Shia Werner, you are going to marry him. He says that Mira has nothing to do with Shia Werner, but still she doesn't listen to him. Now she meets the children here. Both the children are wearing the same clothes of red color, and the children say that Mr. Fu has got these clothes for them, but then here Dodo starts requesting her that please become my mother, and on the other side Yang says to Mr. Fu that Shia Werner is probably your girlfriend, so what will you do? You like my mother? So he says that yes, I like your mother, but also know that Shia Werner is not my girlfriend. Now Yang comes home, and here Shia Jin again comes to know that he had gone to Mr. Fu's house, and here he again starts requesting his mother that mother please, I like Mr. Fu very much. Please make him my daddy. What is lacking in him? He is so rich, so perfect, and so handsome, and he cares for me so much. Now Shia Jin gets a DNA test done, after which it is revealed that Mr. Fu is Yang Yang's biological father, but still she does not want to live with Mr. Fu because she believes that Mr. Fu and Shia Werner have a relationship. They love each other for 6 years. And she does not want to live with a person who is in contact with Shia Werner. But how would this poor guy know that Shia Werner and Mr. Fu do not get along? Mr. Fu does not even like to see Shia Werner. Well, on one hand, we see that some people kidnap Yang Yang, and this work is done by none other than Shia Werner. These people call Shia Jin and ask for a lot of money, and here they also threaten Yang Yang that sit with your mouth shut or else I will cut you into pieces and make korma. But we already know that Yang Yang is such a naughty child. He fools both of them and starts running away from here. After which Mr. Fu comes here and protects Yang Yang from both of them, and now Mr. Fu also comes to know that all this is the work of Shia Werner. Now in the next scene, we see that Mr. Fu also comes to know that Yang Yang is his son, and now what all he does to make Shia Jin his own. We will see further that he is going to leave no stone unturned to make her his own. Now in the next scene, he comes to meet Shia Jin and he asks her, why did you leave me after that night? She says that it was all an accident and now you are Shia Werner's future husband, so it would be better for you to stay away from me. Both of them are fighting inside when the children lock the door from outside and say that the door will open only in the morning because the door is locked and is not opening. Both of them understand that this is a trick of the children so that both of us can spend some time alone. Now Mr. Fu starts taking advantage of this opportunity and says that I was not in my senses that night, so let's repeat that night again today. She tells him to be safe, but then he starts romancing with her forcefully, but while romancing, he suddenly becomes unconscious. After which she makes him lie down on the bed properly and kisses him with a baby's milk bottle. She makes him drink medicine, and this scene looks very adorable. Well, next morning when she regains consciousness, all the misunderstanding between them is resolved. He explains to her that there is no such relationship between me and Shia Werner. Till date, I have never even touched Shia Werner. He is with us only because of Dodo, because he calls himself Dodo's mother. He also says that I will help you completely in taking revenge from those people. I will support you in every way and you don't worry, I will never force you, but yes, if your mood changes, please be careful. Next day we see that Go Jin misbehaves with Shia Jin. He says that how can you leave me like this? I have been supporting you for 6 years. I have loved you for 6 years. I have been waiting for you for 6 years that you will solve everything and marry me. He says that I have never considered you like that in 6 years. From the beginning till today, I have been considering you only as a good friend. I have come, then why are you having all these wrong expectations? After this, he kisses her forcefully and says that we both are not friends, so think before speaking. She says that it will be better if we never meet after today, but here when he kisses her forcefully, then someone takes their picture. After this, Grandma comes to Mr. Fu and says that you do not know that character well yet. How can you keep such a relationship without knowing anyone? After this, she shows him the kissing photo. He gets very hurt after seeing this photo. He does not understand anything. After this scene, we understand that the incident of taking the photo is of none other than Shia Werner. Grandmother is going to get these two married next week, but Mr. Fu also agrees for this marriage, but we understand that there is definitely a big plan going on in his mind. Now Shia Werner takes the most expensive wearing dress for herself and says that no matter how expensive the dress is, the payment will be made by Mr. Fu only. Showing the most expensive dress of this shop. Shia Jan reaches here and asks Shia Werner that what do you want to do? Why is Mr. Fu not picking my call? Shia Werner says that finally, I am the winner of this game and see, I am winning too, so now your game is over and you come to the wedding, eat and enjoy. After this, against your story, now we see the wedding scene. Here both are putting rings on each other's finger, But then Mr. Fu refuses to marry, and now here Shia brings a lady, and this lady is the same nurse from whom Shia Werner had paid money to get the girl. This lady tells Mr. Fu the whole truth about Shia Werner. After which a lot of trouble is saved for Shia Werner. After this both of them are very happy because both of them are biological parents of both the children. Now Shia Jin finally hugs her daughter, and Manny says in her mind that son, I have found you. Now a lot of trouble is saved for both Shia Werner and her mother. Due to which Shia gets angry and pushes his biological father from the stairs. He plans to kill him, but his luck is good because of which he does not die. When Shia Jin comes to know about this, she understands that Shia Werner and her mother have done this together. She tells her that how can you be so cruel, how can you fall so low, how can you take someone's life? Both of them start fighting, and now Shia Jin finally warns very badly that now you mother and daughter cannot escape from me. Be careful. Well, the next day Mr. Fu buys a new property for his wife, and he starts as soon as he brings her here, and on one side the secretary does all this. He is enjoying watching it. Now the next day when she comes back from late work, he says that what is the need to work outside at night in such cold? I cannot see you working so hard. After all, why do you work so hard? After all, what is the need? She says that I like it and it is my habit. Now he gives her black tea. After this they come to the room and he gets romantic and says that please do not make me wait so much now. I have been doing you for 6 years. After which they finally get intimate. On one hand we see that the band of these mother and daughter is saved, and on the other hand Shia Jin keeps achieving huge success by working hard day after day, and finally Mr. Fu files a case against Shia Werner and her mother. After this we see Shia Jin's father, who is slowly getting better, and now finally all of them are with their family. So friends, this drama ends here, so thank you for watching, and for such romantic dramas, subscribe to Drama Diaries. Then we meet, take care, bye till then in next video.